Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for watching today. So this weekend we had a brand new Marvel movie hit theaters in Captain America Brave New World. This is a movie I've been looking forward to personally for quite a while. It looks like a really intriguing new take with Sam Wilson taking up the mantle of Captain America, coming off the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I really did enjoy that show, so I was looking forward to seeing what we're going to get in this movie and everything we were seeing with returning characters from the Incredible Hulk, and then seeing Red Hulk coming in here, and then Sam really taking the mantle of Captain America. Looked really interesting, and there was a lot of buzz around this film, and there's been a lot of talk about it, some good, some not so good. But now I've seen it for myself, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about the movie, my thoughts, give a little movie review today. But of course, we're also going to be taking a look at some of the brand new Funko Pops for this line of Captain America Brave New World figures. They did put out a whole line of figures with some exclusives, some comments, and I'm excited to show them off today. I have a number of them here in front of me, and we'll talk about the movie, talk about the Pops, and get all into it. Now let's start by jumping into my overall thoughts about the Brave New World movie and trying to avoid spoilers in a way. This is a movie, like I said, that I was very excited for. This is a movie that, even going back to last year, they showed us footage at Comic-Con and at D23. Looks really intriguing, kind of teasing like they did in the trailers. Adamantium kind of being part of that story, following up on the events of Eternals. I thought it had a really promising premise, and then of course bringing in Sam Wilson into it, of him really becoming Captain America, and what does that look like now in this world, and bringing back some other characters we've known from previous movies like Thunderbolt Ross. And it feels like the tone of this movie, they were trying to get pretty close to Captain America the Winter Soldier, which in my opinion is by far the best Marvel movie ever released. It is my absolute favorite. I love Captain America, love Bucky, I love political thrillers, so that movie I think is just perfect right down the middle, and I can see where they're trying to go with this movie. So I really appreciated the parts of it that were like that political thriller, a little bit of like government conspiracy type of thing. I thought that was pretty solid. Overall, there was some really good action. There's some pretty good character moments in this, with Harrison Ford playing General Ross, and then also, of course, with Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson, his relationship with the Falcon, Joaquin Torres. I think there were a lot of really good things about this, and overall, it was definitely an enjoyable movie. But I don't want to say this is a perfect movie. There's definitely some things that are lacking, and I'll talk a little bit more about some of the characters as I have some of the Funko Pops, and I'll talk about the characters a little bit more there. But there are some characters that are not as fleshed out in this movie. Some of the motives, some of sort of the timeline of things doesn't quite add up. But it sounds like this is a movie that did go through a number of different reshoots and maybe some retooling throughout the way, so maybe some ideas and concepts changed leading up to the movie. But overall, at the end of the day, it's actually a really enjoyable movie. It's a lot of fun, some good, again, action, some good government conspiracy, some thriller aspects to it, at least political thriller. So overall, it's a really enjoyable movie. And if you're a fan of Captain America, if you're a fan of Sam Wilson as well from the MCU, overall, I think you're really going to enjoy this movie. And there's some really fun performances, especially from Harrison Ford, who I think really helps hold this movie together. I think he was absolutely fantastic, but you always gotta love Harrison Ford. So if I was gonna give it a star rating, I'd probably give this movie like a 3.5, maybe a little bit less than that if I wanted to go to like a 3.2, 3.3. Still really solid, some pretty good like camera movement in this, some good action, some decent effects, especially with Red Hulk in this movie. The Red Hulk looks really good with the time that we see him in there, but there's some other stuff in here that maybe a little bit exposition heavy, maybe not as much explanation or backstory to some of the characters, some weird decisions with some of the characters too. But overall, I think it was a fun time at the theater. And now that we got my thoughts out of the way of the movie, let's get into taking a look at some of the brand new Funko Pops from Captain America Brave New World. And of course, we're gonna have to start with the titular character being Captain America. And here we have him right here. This is the common version of Captain America with him in his brand new updated outfit. And then you do have the shield and the wings behind him too. I really like the suit actually in this movie. I think the suit looks great, kind of an update from the last one. Did change up the suit a little bit, where I know there's like no longer that cowl that he had in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. But overall, I think the suit is really cool. The gadgets, technologies he has is pretty awesome as well. You know, I just really like the colors and the design with the star there, similar to the Steve Rogers suit that he wore in the Winter Soldier. You got the shield there. He has the wings all open up, and I do like the coloring and the shading on the wings too. Looks pretty nice. He's in a pretty good stance as well. Now, this is not the only Captain America pop you can get from this line. There's actually a couple other Captain America figures, including one that's exclusive over to Target, which is kind of like a sketched or a shaded version of him. I'm not sure what they called it, but it is a little bit different with like some scuff marks and actually in a little bit of a different pose as well. And then there is a Funko Shop exclusive Captain America where it's him flying. The only thing I wish they did with that pop is actually have him with the helmet, because that looks really cool in action in the movie. Now, throughout the movie, we have Sam's right-hand man and kind of guy in the chair at parts is going to be Joaquin Torres, who ends up being the Falcon, and we have his pop right here. Actually really like the design of the suit on this character, and it looks pretty good as a pop as well. And I just actually really like this character in general. He's really charismatic, pretty funny, and he just has a really good chemistry with Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson. So it's just a big fan of this character. I'm hoping we get to see more of him in the future. And again, I think the suit looks pretty great. Some updates to it, whereas that green and gray color all throughout. He has the visor on the helmet as well, which I think looks great. Again, the wings kind of open. You did see the wing pack on the back too. Again, some pretty nice detail on that. In addition to this Falcon Pop, there is also going to be another Target exclusive figure, which is the Falcon, but again, it kind of has the little scuffing on there. I'm not sure what we're calling that design there, but it is slightly different, I want to say, just with the wings kind of opened up a little bit more. Now, the big draw of this movie, I think for a lot of people, was being able to see the Red Hulk. He is a pretty infamous character in the comics. A lot of people think he's really cool. And after seeing General Thunderbolt Ross for so many years, and a lot of people knew he turns into Red Hulk, it was just only a matter of time before we saw it in the MCU. We finally get him, and we do also have a pop of him as well, but it actually comes in a 6-inch version. And I think it does look pretty nice. Does not look as much like Harrison Ford as it actually does in the movie, but still, I actually really enjoy this pop. And he looks really fun with the angry look on his face. He has his arms out like he's kind of stepping forward, maybe about to do that Sonic clap. And they even gave him the chest hair and everything on the front, the torn up pants. This is definitely a fun figure. And Red Hulk also has a couple other pops as well. I do know there is also a Target exclusive to finish out that Target exclusive set, where again, he's in a little bit different pose and maybe a little bit more sketched out, especially with the chest. And I also believe I recall seeing a Marvel Collector Cores box. I did not pick it up myself, but there is one, I believe, of Red Hulk of him actually doing the Sonic clap. Now, out of all the Funko Pops that were released for this movie, I think the most interesting one is actually the Leader. And the reason is because the Funko Pop looks nothing like the character that we got in the movie. And if you look at it right here, this is the Leader. Of course, the Leader was a character in the original Incredible Hulk from 2008, played by Tim Blake Nelson. He does return in this movie, now fully formed as the Leader after he got some gamma radiation Hulk juice on his head. His head grew and gave him new kind of brain powers. And he is really actually pretty cool in the movie. And he definitely drives the plot forward, kind of being a little bit of a bigger villain than Thunderbolt Ross. But again, he looks nothing like this. Now, just giving you a better look at what the pop looks like out here at the box. As you can see, he kind of looks like a normal guy, just with the goatee, but just completely green skin. Maybe he has a little bit of a taller forehead, but if you look at the Pop, you think he just looked like a normal guy just with green skin, maybe just an alien, right? But if you haven't seen the movie, he does not look like that. Here's actually a photo of what he actually looks like in the movie, completely different. So it's weird that we got a Funko Pop that the design went this far to look like this as a Pop, but completely different in the movie. I'd be interested to know how many times that's actually happened, because I know these toys do get produced like a year in advance, you know, designed and everything pretty far in advance, but it's really interesting that they let it get this far down the line, and the movie looks completely different. But overall, it's actually pretty cool that we have this Pop, because I think this is going to be something that's going to be a collector's item. A lot of people are going to talk about for years to come, knowing that, hey, this is a Marvel character that looks nothing like it does in the movie. And now the final character we have today from this line is a character that probably should have been left out of this line, and might have even should have been left out of the movie entirely, because she's not really interesting. This character is going to be Ruth Bat-Sarat. This is a character that I think probably went under heavy rewrites and reshoots to really just been pretty much down to literal like nothingness as a character. Very simple, very little backstory, and she doesn't have much to do in the movie. But from what I understand, this is a character that was supposed to be a character named Sabra, which is in the comics is an Israeli superhero who is kind of like the Israeli version of Captain America in a way. But in this movie, she doesn't really do anything. She's supposed to be a former Black Widow. She is the head of security for President Ross, but really she doesn't do much in the movie, so I'm kind of surprised they ended up making her into a Funko Pop. Again, they probably made her into a Pop when she had a bigger role in the film, but it was pretty diminished as a character. So, and even her Pop isn't really interesting. They don't really have much about her that is interesting, so I'm kind of surprised that it made it all the way to release. The only thing I can really say about this character in terms of Pop form is that she does have the weapon in her hand. She is in a little bit of a dynamic stance, and she is wearing her jacket with like the little blue accents. In the movie, she does wear some sort of uniform, but it's a little bit more of like a metal plated suit, and I think she only wears it one time in the movie. There's nothing really else about her that sticks out. But overall, it's a very simple Pop, pretty boring Pop, and I don't think this one's gonna be a top seller. And now there's one more Pop that I do know is available from this line over from the Funko shop, and it's actually going to be President Thaddeus Ross, who, of course, played by Harrison Ford, who's great in the movie. He has his own Funko Shop exclusive. Well, there we have it, guys. There's our look at the brand new wave of Funko Pops for Captain America Brave New World, and a little bit about my thoughts on the movie. Again, overall, solid movie. It's good, it's fun, it's enjoyable, some good action, some good political thriller. But honestly, I was hoping we would get a little bit more twists out of it, something a little bit more surprising. But overall, if you're looking for a movie that's pretty straightforward and has a pretty good pace, I think this gives you that. Overall, I'd recommend seeing it. I mean, as a Marvel fan, I definitely think it's still something that's going to be important, and I'm hoping to set up more stuff for years to come. But there's still a lot of stuff in this movie that's redeemable with, you know, Sam Wilson. I think Anthony Mackie does a great job with him. I think his chemistry with the Falcon, Joaquin Torres, is great. Danny Ramirez is great as Joaquin Torres. With Harrison Ford, he's awesome as Thaddeus Ross. And then the Red Hulk is pretty great as well. There's some other things I don't love as much, some weird decisions, which I won't get fully into to avoid spoilers. But I would say it's a pretty solid movie. Again, about maybe a 3.5 or so out of 5. But now I do want to throw it over to you guys. What do you think about both the Funko Pops for Captain America Brave New World? And what are your thoughts on the movie? Have you seen it yet? What do you think? Are you planning on seeing it? I would love to hear about your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, if you guys have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also leave a like in this video as well if you enjoyed it. And of course, you can always hit that notification bell to be notified whenever we have new videos drop. But thank you guys so much for watching today. And as always, we'll see you again real soon.